Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here's your hosts, Drew and Dex.
Welcome back to my basement.
Welcome back to the Alberta Separation Podcast, you fruitcakes.
Make Alberta great again, brother.
You're here with Big Tex Dex and the Separation Kid. And we're about to get it done. Get those taxes.
I've always wanted to live in a totally landlocked country with zero access to tidewater and resources other than oil.
No military, no respect for Indigenous people. I love it.
Quit threatening me with a good time.
The grass is literally greener. Let's get it done. The UCP, okay? They've made
Never
it.
say never. Everybody said Brexit would never happen, and it did.
Yeah, and look at that. That worked out perfectly.
It worked out swimmingly.
Yeah. I don't know fucking anyone who's pro-separation, or I don't know, I should say.
I think you're just not hanging out in the right crowds, like with morons.
Yeah.
Like you hang out with people who have like above room temperature IQ. So like you're not collaborating with those types of people.
And that's not to diss people who hold
No, I'm
those
dissing
views.
them. I'm dissing them. You're stupid. You're so stupid.
We just lost 10% of our listeners. They signed the petition, Bill 54. They're getting out there.
They're going for it.
They're knocking on doors twice, they say. What do they have to get? They have to get 10% of registered voters.
Yeah, and it's like 750,000 signatures or something.
I bet you they do it.
I bet you they get enough signatures to have a referendum because that number is so hilariously low.
Yeah. And then we'll spend a lot of time and money, dealing with that. And then it'll get wiped off the map because, of course, it won't fucking pass.
Yeah.
Just a waste of time. It's just an outlet. People are upset. People are angry. And it's just something to kind of focus on because they didn't get the result they want. They listened to our unbelievable coverage of the provincial election. And then they were just completely floored at the results.
Yeah, they were like, what?
Even though
happened?
Everyone voted blue in the province. And yeah.
Yeah, and
Rep
I
by
love
pop,
how
baby, rep by pop.
I love how they looked at the entire election result and they were like, well, obviously my province is the only one that's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Alberta advantage right there.
Yeah.
We're not diving in. Fuck those guys.
We're doing very like surface level analysis.
I can't wait to separate. Would they stick with Alberta? Would it be the country of Alberta, or would they pick something totally new?
It's gonna be something so stupid.
Come on, what do you
They're
think?
not going Alberta. They're gonna be like they're probably gonna come up with like some old like Nordic name because like like Nazis have a lot of like they have a lot of like Nordic imagery that they like have repurposed, right? So like I think it'll be something like that.
Yeah, Nazi land. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like Leif Erikson's Funland. Yeah.
Yo.
Actually, okay, now I want to separate.
Yeah, that's sick. Leif Eriksonite. I'm so in.
Yeah.
What do our passports look like? Swastikas.
Yeah. Just get some armbands going. Yeah.
What's our national anthem?
The new Kanye West song.
Oh yeah, Ye is back. Talking about old news.
He made graduation.
He made graduation.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say this. Obviously, it goes without saying.
It's a banger.
Hitler bad.
Hitler bad.
Okay?
Yeah.
The Vandals had an album, Vandals Good, Hitler Bad.
Yeah.
Hitler bad. But
I like your take on Hitler.
But God damn it, can Kanye West produce a song? Like the beat, the melody of it, it's like if he just changed the lyrics, absolutely, it's on every radio station, top of the hour, every hour.
Isn't that a wild miss? Like the conversation we could be having is like, look how crazy Kanye West is. Look at all this shit he's done. And then he comes off the top rope and just releases the song of the summer.
Yeah.
And he's like you got to imagine people in the room, in the studio, they're listening to the beat. They're watching him nod his head. They're like, oh shit.
Kanye's back.
Kanye's back.
This is graduation
Here we
too.
go. And he's like, all right, listen to these lyrics.
He's surrounded himself with enough like sycophants that I'm sure they're all like, great lyrics, yay. Like
there had to be one money man that was like,
one guy that, like the
can we switch it up? Can't we just like be in a club partying?
His accountant's just like, listen, Kanye, you're bleeding money. We need a hit, and he's like, I got it.
Yeah.
And the accountant's like, I don't know about that.
Well,
Probably a Jewish
he
accountant.
got a hit, right? People are listening to it.
Yeah, fuck.
But
I mean, like undeniably, the beat is really good.
It's
Yeah,
indefensible. Or indefendable. I don't know which word is
Indefensible.
Indefensible. It's ludicrous. And
it's ludicrous that somebody like it has a song that's just Heil Hitler, people chanting. Also, how do you get that many black people to chant Heil Hitler in a music video?
I'm assuming money.
Yeah, because I mean, Hitler notoriously not a fan of the blacks.
But I feel like there still is this underlying narrative that it's all not necessarily hyperbole or parody, but it's commentary. Like he's being edgy, and it's not really what he's saying. He's more so saying like, look at our society. You can't say anything. You can't do anything, and I'm just trying to be provocative.
Yeah, and I would buy that if he didn't have like a long and storied history of like being
Anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's overt. Like it's
it's Heil Hitler.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no like, oh, like you gotta like read through the messages. You gotta
no. You don't get it. You don't get it.
You're not really listening. You're listening, but you're not listening.
He's saying he can't say anything on Twitter. And he's tired of people holding him to account. We just don't understand him.
We don't. I will give him that. We do not understand him.
Yeah, no, he's still got his fans. I think he should have changed the lyrics. Do you think there's the answer is no. But like, yeah, I listen to Sun Country. Okay, there you go. Cat's out of the bag.
Okay.
And Sun Country is like, it belongs to this the online conglomerate where it's like they have all the exact same ad reads.
Yeah.
And they have like very strict regulations, and they censor everything. Like to the point where that Zach Brown song where it's like, I got my toes in the water, ass in the sand. They edit that.
They edit ass.
Yeah. It's I got my toes in the water, also my toes in the sand. Yeah, it's just like so I'm wondering if it hits primetime radio and they just like they bleep it out.
I think we gotta wait for the Kids Bop version.
Oh,
yeah, like,
I do like Kids Bop versions.
They'll edit that a little bit. They always edit it.
Those little dudes can sing.
Yeah,
there's a couple.
I think it'll be like
all my
friends on the playground saying school's in now.
Oh,
yeah.
School's in now or school's out. I mean,
school's out now. Yeah,
school's out. Come on.
Well, but they want to promote education, I think. So it'll be like
not in this province.
Well, yeah, no, okay, not in future Leif Erikson land. But
hey, play that fucking mailbag jingle.
Mailbag time, motherfucker.
Okay, so I went through all the trouble of setting up the email, and it is on my phone, but we hadn't been getting them, and I just stopped checking. So I'm actually, I have
do you not have
idea.
notifications set up?
No, I have so many things blinking on my phone. But you said we got a mailbag, and you also alluded to the fact that it takes a couple shots at me.
Like, I wouldn't say directly, but like,
okay.
It's underhand.
I'm here for the indirect shots.
Okay, so this is from Ryan Curry. Do you know Ryan?
Oh shit, yeah.
Okay, I don't know Ryan, but obviously Ryan's been going back and listening to some old episodes, like maybe catching up.
Okay.
Title with several exclamation points. Elf is still the second best Christmas movie.
No shit.
Yeah. Hey, Rad Dads. First of all, Elf is the second best Christmas movie ever, next to Christmas Vacation, which I agree, Christmas Vacation is the best. Another first of all, of course, I would listen and support a friend, which is nice. Thank you. I continue to listen because it is a good podcast. Also, thank you. Appreciate that. We put a lot of work into it. We're talking about separation and Hitler today.
I feel like that other shoe's about to drop here.
Yeah.
This is a preface.
Another first of all. Okay, so this is the third first of all. Third of all. You guys need credits at the end of the podcast to say everyone that contributed to the podcast, and he's listed out. Producer, Dex. Executive producer, Dex. Incidental music, Dex. Engineering and mixing, Dex. Sound effects, Dex. Production support, Dex and his wife. I'm sure she has a name. It's Alicia. His ADHD does not allow him to remember things like names. And then voiceover, Dex's wife, Alicia. And another first thing, that episode with the man boudoir pics, he did that for a white elephant a few Christmases ago and had to use his wife's leopard bikini. And it was damn sexy. The best part, my brother-in-law got the framed and signed pic along with some lube and a male masturbator, which sounds like honestly,
That's a sick gift.
That's a top
tier.
3 Christmas for me.
What's a male masturbator?
Like a pocket pussy.
Okay, yeah. No, okay, yeah. Should have just looked on your wall. Okay, go on.
That's the end of it. Thanks, Ryan. He did include a picture of him in the leopard print bikini.
Shut up.
In front of the fireplace here.
No. This is a live reaction. Whoa, Rye guy. Okay,
He's looking good.
that's the thing about Ryan is he's a cutie. Yeah. Oh man,
I'm sure his wife was like really excited.
we won't reproduce this. This will not end up on our socials. I wouldn't do that
That's
to you.
that's for our own
Personal
male
use.
masturbator
Yeah,
use.
I'm gonna go get a male masturbator. Wow. Yeah, he's fit.
Yeah, I couldn't pull that off.
Ryan used to employ me back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah. I was a grunt worker up north, pushing aerators, digging holes. Yeah, they own a great big old landscaping company, him and his brother, and they're very good to me. And it's nice to know that he's a listener. Ryan, if you make it this far, because it sounds like you're going to the bottom of the barrel on a couple of these episodes,
well,
which we've talked about before.
When did we do the Christmas movie breakdown? Was that this Christmas or last Christmas?
I feel like it was last Christmas.
Yeah, he's got a few to catch up on.
Yeah, it all blurs in. But yeah, thanks for the email. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and
thanks,
thank
Ryan.
you for
Thanks for listening.
Spank Bank deposit. Cha-ching.
Should we just end the podcast now?
Yeah, hey buddy, it's been real. I gotta go.
Free Alberta. All right, see you later, everybody.
Yep. No, Elf sucks. And
You've maintained that.
okay.
I'm indifferent on Elf.
Yeah.
I it's fine. I don't know where we're going from there. A long pause. I'm so stuffed up, dude.
Yeah, you've been doing nose steroids.
Yeah. Which is not a euphemism.
Yeah.
No, like my allergies have been so bad lately, and like just the over the counter like Claritin or whatever, like wasn't doing it. So I saw Costco had a 3-pack of Flonase, which I've never used before, and hindsight being 2020, probably didn't need like a lifetime supply of Flonase from Costco. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I saw it's way better for sinuses, which is what I'm struggling with. And turns out Flonase, like any steroid, it thins the nasal walls.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're stuffed right up.
I'm right stuffed up. Okay, so
Are you gonna be able to make it?
maybe we'll see. I might have to take a gentle nose blow break.
Yeah.
But so anyway, it thins
I
your
could do a
nasal
blow
walls.
break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Get Ryan's picture. Oh, that blow break.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
cocaine,
okay.
cocaine. Yeah.
And so anyway, yesterday morning, I've been taking this Flonase. It's been helping, but yesterday morning before golf, I went to blow my nose before I put in the Flonase, and my nose just started bleeding. I was like, oh, that's weird. And like, I do get nosebleeds occasionally, but like not that much and not bad. So then I finally got it stopped right as the boys were pulling up to go golfing. So I didn't put in the Flonase, and I was like, maybe a day off will be fine. And then last night I'm ready to go to bed. I blow my nose, and I have the worst nosebleed of my life. Like hour long. Like I thought I was going to die. Wouldn't stop. Like literally Alicia was like, I'm worried I'm going to have to wake up the kids. We're going to have to take you to the hospital to get it like cauterized.
Oh, such a wuss move. You got to take your adult husband.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
got a bad
I was like,
nose.
no, I'm not doing that. And it did eventually stop. But now I'm just like, I'm afraid to blow my nose. Because the last 2 times I've blown my nose with any reasonable amount of force, it's just started gushing blood. So
I think you got to go do a blow break, man. You're struggling.
okay, we'll we'll come back. All right, I'm back. I'm still, obviously, as people can probably hear, I'm still very stuffed up, but hopefully I'm not sniffling so much.
Yeah, I'm having a moment. Like you were getting all nasally there, and I was just like the junior high version of me was just gonna I wanted to bully you.
Oh, thanks.
You're just
Okay.
starting to sound nerdier and nerdier. Okay?
Yeah.
Just going to have to shove you in a locker. I'm glad you got that sorted.
Yeah, no, it's crazy though. I've always dealt with allergies, but never like this year. I don't know. This year it's like hit me crazy hard. Usually, like I'm like, yeah, I need a Claritin, and I'm good for like a week. Like it's really mild. This year's been crazy.
I think it's a thing. I think it like manifests later in life. You become like more susceptible to your allergies, or as you get older, they just like build up over time. There's no scientific. We haven't gotten our doctor on staff yet. We still don't have a rad dad doctor.
Okay, by the way,
You've got an update.
well, so last episode we were talking about the
Coffee enema.
the coffee enemas, and I have a family member. I don't want to out them because I don't know if they want to necessarily be like named on the podcast because they're a professional in their field. But I've got a family member who is a doctor and like fairly like established, high up.
I feel like once you've unless you're Dr. Weed, like you're a doctor, you're doing okay.
Well, but like he's like in charge of other doctors too.
Oh, he's
like
a super doctor.
He's like doctor.
Doctor
Yeah,
level
okay.
2.
Trying to like be like not too specific again.
Okay, where does he work?
I'm not at a hospital.
I'm not outing him. We've quite a spectrum of fans. We got like one sending us like nudies essentially, and the
Yeah.
others like I can't say his name.
I don't know if he would care or not. I didn't get permission, so I don't want to. Yeah. Anyway, but I was like communicating through him through another family member, and I was like, you got to ask. Because I don't know if it's appropriate for me to be like asking directly, like just out of the blue. So I was like, but you gotta ask about like coffee enemas, and like he was like so stupid. Like that was just the only answer was like, don't put things in your ass that don't go in your ass. Probably like just got out of surgery, like taking a light bulb out of somebody's ass or something. It was just like, don't put fucking shit in your ass, okay? Like shit comes out your ass.
Yeah. Well, male masturbators.
Make sure you got a flared base, like follow the safety protocols.
I was gonna say, don't wipe everything out. There's some stuff that goes in there.
Coffee should not be one of them though.
No,
And actually, like we were looking it up, and like people have died from doing home coffee enemas.
So I think it must have been one of those algorithmic alignments because we were talking about putting coffee in our ass, and this thing came up, and it was like these Australian boys who constantly prank each other, and the one dude's gonna eat a bunch of coffee beans. And then, because it's like that one really expensive coffee, the cat eats it, and then the cat shits it out, and it's like, wow, this is cat shit coffee. Like I'm enjoying this; it's so good. Enzymes do something to the bean, or it's just a shit fetish. I think people, anyone who's defending cat shit coffee, like, yeah, okay, that's a kink, bud. It can't taste that great.
That's what they serve at Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Yikes. And cat meat, actually, in most of their food products.
Unregulated cat meat in the Ryan Reynolds scrambler bowl.
But the dude eats all these coffee beans, and then like they bung up, and he gets like crazy sick, and he has to get them surgically removed.
Yeah,
and he like can't shit for days, and it's like this. It turns into like
a serious medical issue.
Yeah, so it doesn't work. So you can't ingest them orally and then poop them out for which to brew coffee, and you can put liquid coffee in there, but it's not going to do anything for you.
Well, and he I think he did too many. Like I think if you ate like a few coffee beans, you would poop them out. It would be fine. You probably wouldn't even notice anything. But this guy like had like half a Kirkland bag of coffee trying to go through his system.
Yeah, he ate too many.
Yeah.
I think that it would improve the rarity of that coffee blend too if you just do like one bean a day.
Yeah.
You got to sift through a lot of poop though. My diet, I'm eating like a pizza a day and then like a single coffee bean, and I got to find it.
It's a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, it's a needle in a haystack, buddy.
Anyway.
Those Australians. Speaking of which, you got me on the Big Les show.
Oh, fuck.
Like, it took me a while to heat up because I was watching all those reels. And so this guy's name is Jared Wright. Yeah. And he created this web series, and he he made it all on MS Paint.
Yeah, like, which is like not how you would animate a show.
No, and in the first season, he did it with a laptop and a trackpad.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so, it's not that it's so shitty, but like, it's not good animation. But then he does all the voices, he does all the music.
Yeah.
And it's just this nonsensical thing. And then he just kind of finds his rhythm. and like sticks with a little bit of the stuff he established, and it becomes this like epic. It's like literally Lord of the Rings-esque quest, and there's 4 seasons of it, and I've been watching it every night.
It's fucking hilarious. Like some of the and the funniest part. So you go back to like the first season when the animation was admittedly like pretty poor, pretty low budget, obviously, and but there's like one scene where like remember he gets on the counter and he takes a shit.
Yeah, on the birthday cake.
On the birthday cake.
He's wearing night vision. Guys, Splinter Cell. He's Splinter Cell, and he's pooping through his suit. The whole house is trashed, and Norton's just like, "Oh yeah, you got me with that." Norton's like doesn't give a shit about the house. He's like, "Oh, me birthday cake. Oh, ma."
But that was like the most detailed animation of the entire like first season. He like spent so much time animating this like shit that's falling out of his ass
the bulk
and like
of the work,
like bulking up on top of the cake. I laughed so hard at that. Like, but then he's obviously taken some elements. Like you can tell he's maybe a bit of an anime fan, and he's got like some Dragon Ball Z elements in there, and like
it goes off.
Yeah.
Like by the time you get to season 4. You know, the Chuma Island shit. Yeah, a little Super Saiyan. And the voice acting, I don't know. I don't know if it's something that I'm not used to. Like I don't know Australian slang. I don't know surfer slang, and I don't think that's what it is. That's maybe a little too superficial, but just like whatever that part of society is that he's emulating, like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I've never wanted to go somewhere more just to hang out with dudes and see if they really talk like that.
I think there's Australian humor is like I think it's hugely underrated. And I think about some of these great shows like Summer Heights High.
Yeah.
And like anything Chris Lilly has done, you know, Angry Boys and stuff like that. Like Australian humor, and maybe it's because they have a smaller population, it's like not as well known on the world stage, but man, when they make something, it's a banger.
Yeah. This show, if you're not watching it, if you've not spent any time watching the Big Les show, like you need this is the rest of your Sunday. Like we're coming at you from a morning show, which is nice. Actually, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, me too. Other than nosebleeds and stuff.
Yeah, the Flonase. Yeah. You should put it in your butt.
Yeah,
because
I've always wanted to have butt bleeding.
No, it'll just thin the lining and just become more absorbent. It's butt steroids.
Oh, do the Flonase before the coffee enema?
Yeah. It'll loosen up that membrane. Fuck this show with the Sasquatches, just the different groups. Sassy Mate, Donnie.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, Donnie, you fucking druggo.
You call everybody a druggo. You're the biggest druggo I know. Yeah.
You gotta watch the show, everybody. You gotta get out.
The clips that got me into it was where Donnie's teaching Clarence to box.
Yeah, that's actually the Clarence and Donnie show.
Yeah, which is like a spin-off afterwards.
There's several spin-offs.
But that's what got me into it was where like he's just like, all right, show me what you got. And he's like trying to teach him boxing, and so like the little skinny Clarence guy goes up and starts punching him in the chest and gives him like 2 or 3 like light punches, and he's like, touch me, cunt! And, like fucking whoops the shit out of him.
He's telling me like, come on, mate. You know, like just throw a punch, and then he hits him once, and he's like, yeah, fucking cunt. Just kills him. Oh god!
Just whoops the fuck out of him. It's so funny. It's so lowbrow and stupid, but so funny.
But it's not, and that's the thing that I think anyone that's going to take our recommendation and go watch it, your first reaction is going to be like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" And then you'll go about your day and you'll think about it. You know, you'll be like, "I actually kind of was funny," and then you go back and watch it, and it's got that slow burn effect. It almost gives me not the same type of media at all, but the first time you watch, I think you should leave now.
Yeah, and you're like, this is so irreverent and weird.
Yeah, and it's almost jarring. You're like, am I supposed to be laughing? And then it lives in your brain. It's rent free. And I'm like, I have to go back and watch it. And every time you see it, it's funnier and funnier. And you pick up the small things. And that's this Big Les show and all the spinoffs. The one that got me, there's like actually not really any comedy to it. I was just in the garage spooking a doink, having like a late night reel sesh. And it's from Sassy, the Sasquatch show. And it's just him out on like an Arctic tundra, and he sees a couple penguins diving off a cliff into the water. And then it like zooms in on his face, like he's being contemplative. And then it's just this sequence of him going and grabbing a penguin and just like riding it and it's just got this like trippy LSD beat behind it, and he's just doing sick moves. He's just like coming up the corridor, like grinds the penguin. He does a kickflip, and then like slow zooms the slow-mo penguin kickflip, and then it all ends, and it's just him and the penguin who's still alive, smoking a joint, watching the sunset. And I was like, I don't know what this show is.
It's something there. He does some great character building too. Like again, it's this on the surface very lowbrow, like just stupid humor.
It's fucking like skits, mate.
But he's building these characters and developing them actually like incredibly well. And you're just like, oh wow, like I can see like this character development, this story building element that carries over through the seasons.
Oh
yeah, it's wild.
I don't want to ruin anything, but there is a character death at the end of season 4, and it was profound. Yeah. There's the like weed smoke coming out of bullet holes. The last joint being smoked as the world implodes. Yeah, great show. Couldn't recommend it enough. We've touched on this before, and that we do a lot on this show is just like throwing back all the time. But I've always had an interest, a genuine interest. Like if someone said to me, if you could go back and do it all again, and you just like you're gonna choose something that you want to do that you love, I think I'd want to do animation. And not necessarily like the animating part, but I want to be in that business. I want to create something. And we've talked about doing something like that. You know, we have no idea where to start, how we do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, doing the goofy voice acting, creating a couple characters, and then having like something that we're working on together, but it's not about necessarily good animation, but just telling those stories almost skit style. And I think that just watching that Big Les show, I'm like, this is doable. This is
okay. And especially like, I mean, he made that years ago. Like, I think it came out like 7 or 8 years ago.
But it's rolling now.
Yeah,
like it's picking
it's like
up
picked
steam.
up popularity.
Yeah,
but like now with AI, like, have you seen the new Google AI? What that people are like making full on movies with right now?
Is that Gemini? No, I have no idea.
Oh fuck, what's the name of it? It's
inconsequential.
Yeah, but it does like cinematic generation. And people have made like full on like scenes with it where like these, I saw one where these guys are like pulling up in like an armored vehicle and they're going to like clear out a house. And it's not like your usual AI where it's like, I often find you can tell things are AI when you see like a subject, like a person or a character or whatever, centered in front of a background, right? And the background is maybe got some movement, but it's pretty like static. And that's kind of where you feel like, oh, well, there's something not real about this because
that's the uncanny valley. Yeah.
This is like completely taken. Like they've got you got people walking through the background, extras, whatever, and you've got like it's shifting camera. You could tell it. I want the camera angle to shift here. Do this, and like it's generating it. And yeah, people have made some like crazy videos from it that you are like, other than maybe a few things that you can maybe pick out if you're looking closely, you wouldn't know it's AI. It's crazy. And so like I think it's going to open up. I don't like the idea of AI potentially taking away people's jobs, but for somebody like us who has no idea how to fucking animate a show, but we've got maybe funny ideas, it like opens it up to us.
Well, and I think you nailed it. On one hand, it's a tragedy because you have like gifted people, talented people that have spent their life being able to, put their ideas down, create something, and have someone else enjoy it. And now it's just kind of becoming one of those things that anyone can do, and it devalues, that process, and it devalues what's out there. But it is exciting that we could essentially just go on and create something from nothing, and get our ideas out there. But I think it is, we always say this. The term is spooky. Like, it's unfortunate that's you're not going to be able to tell sooner than later.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the one that's going around right now? And it's almost like it's gone viral. I've seen a few people share it on my social media, and it's almost like a cautionary tale. It's like, share this with your parents, and it's all AI made, but it's like super realistic, and it's like a news story about Canada invading the United States, and it's like breaking news. They've got they cut to a reporter on the border. There's like tanks rolling through the background. They're talking about World War III. And then it like cuts to a few other situations. There's like a doctor giving medical advice and stuff like that. And all of it is AI generated, but it looks like fucking crazy real. And you're just like, yeah, this is spooky. Well, and this is where we are in 2025. Like AI has been a thing for a bit, but like it's only really taken off in the last few years. Where are we going to be in 2030? Like you're not even going to know.
The amount of people, the amount of times recently that I've had someone refer to something and then I'm like, whoa, hold on. That wasn't real. That was a fake thing. And they're like, no, like I saw it.
I saw it on the internet.
I saw it on Instagram. And it's not just, your mammy. It's not just 85-year-old people on Facebook who are getting fooled. Like it's everyone.
Yeah.
And that's scary. It's fucking skits, mate.
Yeah.
Sick cunt. Yeah. Fuck. Oi, ma. I fucking love it. Not AI. I love that Big Les show. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm conflicted. I think it's cool. I like playing around on that stuff, and I think it's very amazing the things that you can do. But it does take us to a place as a society where we already can't trust anybody. We already gotta leave our fucking country because we didn't like the vote, rather than going through the like established channels to enact change and like be involved in the democratic process. We're just like, no, we're done. We're gonna get out of here. Yeah. Instant gratification, and that's happening in media too. I think it's definitely probably a bad thing. Guys like us maybe shouldn't have a show. Another show. We probably shouldn't have an animated show.
Yeah, like we shouldn't have our voices constantly in the ether.
Dude, but we're gonna do it, right?
Yeah. We shouldn't, but we will.
Is this one of those things we talk a big game about doing things?
Yeah.
Are we gonna get off our butts?
I honestly think like one of us needs to win the lottery.
Money. Yeah.
Because like we got jobs and shit, but if we didn't, if like our job was just to sit around and like create, I think unlimited potential.
There's potential.
Yeah.
We have a lot of potential. We have potential, Dad.
But we have
I'm gonna
jobs.
make it.
Actually, I did your job very briefly this week.
I heard about this. Yeah, how'd that go? Tell me about that.
I didn't do your job briefly, but I
yeah, you probably did.
I chaperoned on a field trip, grade 1 field trip to the Okotoks Museum and Archives, which I'd never been to previously.
We have a what?
Yeah. There's admittedly not a lot there. There's like most of the interesting things that have happened in Okotoks have happened everywhere else in Canada. Like they had a whole thing about like World War II and all the people in Okotoks that went and fought in World War II. And I was like, that's cool. But also every town in Canada sent people to World War II. Like that's not unique to Okotoks.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. It is important.
It's important. But it's not like, I don't know. I didn't learn anything specifically about Okotoks other than
there wasn't like a Jebediah Springfield type character that like established the town site.
In 1990 there was a big problem with beavers in Okotoks.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, oh it's fucking beeves.
I was born in 90, so I don't remember it. But I guess they like Okotoks authorized a beaver hunt, and it was very controversial. And I called it the Beaver Wars.
Okay, well, pause.
Yeah.
90s Okotoks sounds like it fucking rips. Sounds skits, mate. If they could authorize a deer hunt like today,
I know, but
okay,
so here's the problem.
Off the map.
They had a couple beaver pelts from the beavers that were hunted, and then they had all the news stories. It was like Okotoks authorizes beaver hunt, and then they had all these like letters to the editor that were sent into the Western Wheel. Both sides of the issue. It was like, don't kill the fucking beavers. It's like all you can do is kill beavers. Like it was like very like controversial at the time, I'm assuming. It seemed very controversial. So, like, if you did that today with a deer hunt, with a larger population of many people who have, like, not maybe lived in, like, a hunting family or anything like that, they'd be like, no, you can't kill deer.
We kill everything.
Oh, yeah.
We subvert so many species and, like, bend them to our will. Like, just drive past fucking Cargill. We are, like, we dominate so many aspects of our ecology. Like, we are fucking, like, we're the Hitler species, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I always laugh when, like, you see people, like, especially, like, vegans, and they're like, like humans are the only animals that drink the milk of another animal. I'm like, yeah, humans are also the only animals that build fucking cars and skyscrapers. Like, what's your fucking point, you stupid asshole? Like, what are you fucking saying? What are you fucking saying?
We lost our separatists on this episode. We're losing our vegans, man. We're fucking down
I'm like,
to zero.
What a shit argument. Come up with a better argument than that. Like, oh, like you're drinking cow's milk? We're the only other species that drinks other animals' milk. And I'm like, yeah, of course we are.
And it's not like these animals out there in the animal kingdom, they're not doing fucked up shit. Just spend 8 minutes on nature is metal. You know, you're gonna save this koala from a fire and then like watch it fucking.
You think otters are cute? Read about otters for 5 minutes.
Yeah, rapers.
Yeah.
Yeah, rapers, murderers, those little fuckers.
Yeah.
So you're at the museum. Okay, but hold on. You touched on
I'm
beavers.
so all over the place.
No,
Holy
it's
shit.
good. We're gonna bring it back to beavers for a minute because you're like, yeah, in the '90s they were doing this, and then they stopped because it's so controversial. I don't think that they stopped. I think that it just went clandestine, and I actually have a quick story about this.
Oh, you're just imagining like a guy in a ghillie suit, like crawling through the Sheep River and slitting a beaver's throat in the middle of the night,
and then taking a big shit on their birthday cake. Yeah. Oh yeah. Gotcha. No. So we were at a barbecue, a bit of a house party at our mutual dude's house, and his dad was there, who at that time was the mayor. And my in-laws were there, and I think it actually might have been the engagement party. And we're all hanging out, having some drinks and visiting. And on the river path down below the escarpment near my house, there's those little offshoots. You know, when the flood came through, it created all these like little fucking creeks and shit. And there's one by the small footbridge. I'm being very specific. You better be an Okotoks local to know where I'm talking about. This is a deep cut. But a huge beaver dam was put up there, and there was tons of beavers, and people were going down and checking them out. And my father-in-law was kind of like regaling his beaver experience. He's down there, he saw them, and like, oh, what a big dam. And the mayor's listening, like, oh yeah, okay, interesting, yeah. And it was like, I like to remember things. Like, this is definitely hyperbole. But in my mind, he touched his ear, you know, like little earpiece, and it was like
Sector 6.
Sector 6. We got a problem. And I swear to God, okay, end of the story. The next day, the dam is gone. The beavers are gone. There is a secretive beaver task force in Okotoks that is just blowing them up and taking shits on their dams. So in the 90s, it might have been like a little more out there. People saw it, but they did not dismantle Beaver Team 6. They've just gone underground, and Okotoks is dumping money into.
They're sending the beavers to a black site. They're sending them to Guantanamo Bay, fucking waterboarding them. Yeah.
Where's the other fucking beavers? Where's the other dams? Where's Abu Zadaya?
Where's Osama Bin Laden?
Oh, Dewey. Okay, so you're at the dude. You talk about being all over the place. I watched that Osama doc on Netflix. It's nuts.
I need to get on that, except I canceled Netflix. What's it called so I can pirate
The Hunt
it?
for Osama bin Laden.
Okay, that makes sense.
And like, it's one of those things where they've got footage, they've got info that just it's stuff that hadn't come out yet. Like, there's so much we don't know, and like it kind of touches on things that you basically would assume were going on, but hadn't been verified. And then they talk about it, and you're like, oh fuck, that was crazy. But stop, pause, okay? Fuck beavers. The fucking sick cunts, mate.
I do fuck beavers.
Yeah, you do. So tell me about the museum. We're gonna get right back. So you're at the museum,
and so I was chaperoning, and I feel like I got to look into like your day to day, and I was there for an hour and a half, and at least 3 kids are my mortal enemies now. What you do as teachers is the work of God. Honestly, it's the work of saints. Because I don't think I could do that. I texted you and I was like, you guys need to be like negotiate whatever you guys are getting paid, whatever you're trying to negotiate for, it needs to be like 3x. Because if I was a teacher, I would be in jail. I would have absolutely I would have hurt a child by September 5th.
which is the first day they actually come to school.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like lunchtime September 5th, they're taking me out in cuffs because man, some of these fucking kids, I don't know what parents are doing. Like, I was so proud of my daughter and some of her friends. They're such good kids. Like, of the 20 kids there, 17 of them were actually so well behaved, but there's 3 of them that I was like, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm sitting on a folding chair and I'm gonna go WWE on you right now. And I felt bad for one kid because I was like, clearly this fucking kid needs to be medicated. Like, he could not control himself. And I was like, man, his parents are probably sitting there like, well, that's just Jimmy. His name wasn't Jimmy, but that's just Jimmy being Jimmy. I was like, no, Jimmy needs fucking medical supervision. He needs drugs. Jimmy cannot sit still for 4 fucking seconds. The other 2 kids are just assholes, I think. But anyway, that's why I don't volunteer at the school very often, but it was an emergency. They sent an email out the night before. They're like, we don't have enough parent volunteers to I guess, chokeslam Jimmy through the fucking wall, because that's what I was about to do.
Yeah, we can't take him because it's going to go off the rails. We need more support.
We need more support. We need an unhinged other parent that has like the sweetest, nicest daughter and has not had to deal with like adversity like that. How about you come help? That was me that day. I was so an hour and a half, 10 o'clock to 11:30. I left and I like had to come home and like decompress.
Yeah, smoke a dart, ride a penguin. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
I was fucking riled up.
You touched on something. You're talking about like, oh, we need like a 3x raise. So they, we had to go to arbitration. They had a mediator, third party, and they came out and said like, here's our recommendation. This is what we think should happen. Here's the money we think teachers should get, and here's some stuff that needs to be put in place. Because we worked the last year on an expired collective bargaining agreement, and so we're still in talks, to retroactively figure that out, but then also find something that works moving forward. And the money was good. Like they actually came out and who knows what I'm allowed to talk about? Probably none of this. But what I can say is that the mediator's report got rejected, not based on salary increases, not based on grid and where it's headed, but because they didn't address any of the classroom complexities or the size of classrooms. And so what happens in schools right now, and what happens at a school like mine, you have these 50-minute blocks. You have a certain amount of assignable time in each core subject area. You have some culture building option courses that need to occur, and you're running the school based off of, hey, this is what we need to spend our time doing. But you got these 50-minute classes, and some of them have 35 kids in them. And in that mix of kids, in that group of 35, and we're talking 12-year-olds, right? You're gonna have three, and this is no bullshit. You're gonna have 3 illiterate students. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have 2 students who are English acquisition. They're here just to kind of get up to speed on what it's like to go to school in Canada. And you're going to have another 5 who are behavior support students. And of those, few, they're going to be coded kids in the mix, kids who actually have some developmental delays, ADD, ODD, extreme behaviors, and they run the room. They take the most time. The amount of time that's spent on classroom management, on redirecting, on trying to mitigate behaviors, keep kids safe, establish a safe and caring learning environment, it's all the time that's your job. You're in class managing, and what you can't do in that time is like instruct and assess and observe and provide feedback and have conversations. And what's happening in schools right now, what's happening in many schools, is kids that are able to kind of get the work done, accomplish tasks, they are left alone. You have a daughter who's bright and capable and gets work done and is extrinsically motivated to succeed in school. That kid gets 0 time with a teacher because
they're just figuring their own shit out.
They have to, because all the teacher's time, all the adults' time is spent managing these other kids. Yeah. And it's a ratio problem. It has very little to do, like I said, with money or curriculum. And there's such a disconnect. The UCP is like, oh, we're going to redo the social curriculum. We don't want to indoctrinate kids.
We're going to ban library books.
We're going to ban library books because they talk about
gay people.
Gay people, yeah. We're like overtly transphobic, and we don't want kids. The whole UCP book burn. These kids are coming to school with a device that has internet access. Every single 11-year-old can go on Pornhub and watch the most sadistic and fucked up shit. And many of them are. Many of them, single parent homes. I don't want to use the term broken home, but kids who have a lot of time because they're not being directly supervised, or they're living in a situation that does not allow for them to have like what we would describe as a normative parental experience. They're up to shit. Yeah. These books are not the problem. The fact that a grade 9 student...
Let's be honest, half of them probably can't even read that book.
They can. These are graphic novels, and they're talking about real experiences. Transgender kids exist. Gay kids exist. They're underrepresented. They're marginalized. They're often attacked and victimized in school. And you're saying they can't have a book that shares a relatable experience? From someone who's been through it and maybe has a message to give them about, staying strong or how to navigate that. That's what's dangerous. not the kids who are fucking vaping, who are using fucking weed pens in the bathroom and fucking creating AI generated porn memes of their female teachers. That's a real thing that happens in schools. Like, it's a fucking disaster. It's chaos. And so you're in that space and you are doing what you can to get through the day without incident. And all the learning, all the understanding, all the concept attainment, that's what goes out the window. And those students that otherwise would be challenged and pushed to be the best versions of themselves and potentially gain the most they can from school are just being left alone because they're not the issue. They're not the biggest fire at the moment. And so like the entire system is crumbling. And I tell people this and they're like, it can't be. Like, what you're saying sounds insane. It's akin to Kanye West coming out and releasing a Heil Hitler tune. That can't be happening in our schools. Yeah. And I'm like, no, that the erosion of public education is so tangible and so severe in this province. And we want to go around and talk about how we're going to get our fucking oil out and whether we should separate. Like, no one is talking about this massive, massive deficit in ed funding and what's happening to our children. It sounds so cliche, but like, we are doing such a disservice to these young people. And guess what? They're the next ones up to bat.
Yeah, they're the next ones running this province.
And things are going to continue to get worse. It's so systemic. It's so cyclical. You want to talk about all these fucking mouth breathers, people that believe this and are so susceptible to influence and really are driving a wedge between, a contributing, engaged, ethical citizen, and then like what your perception of living in a strong and free Alberta is, and it's just so misguided. We're propagating that. We're creating those people. We don't have critical thinkers. We don't have kids with skills and understanding. We don't have the resources to do it. We don't have the people, and it's just worse and worse and worse and worse every year. So they put it to a strike vote after they rejected the mediators report, and of the 44,000 teachers in Alberta, I think something like 38,000 responded. It was 90% of all teachers actually engaged in the vote, which was unprecedented. Never happens that way. And then when they did the authorization vote to say, can we strike? Do you guys think we should strike? The number was 99%. 99% of those 38,000 teachers that voted said, let's strike. And that's after they offered us like an 18% raise.
Yeah. And so as somebody sitting on the outside, when you were telling me this and you were like, yeah, no, actually the money was fine. Like what they were offering us was
I've never
fine.
complained about my salary. We work 189 days a year.
I feel like that's almost like, I don't know if it's not being communicated well enough, but you always hear these people like fall out back on this trope of like, oh, these greedy teachers, they want more money. And it was like, well, money was not really the issue. The government was actually offering great salary raises as part of this, but as you said, they're not addressing the other stuff. So effectively what we're saying is, hey, we haven't given you the tools to do your job properly. We haven't given you the support to do your job properly. What if we just pay you more to keep doing what is
a Band-Aid,
ostensibly a poor job? And that's not saying teachers are doing a poor job. It's just that you don't have the resources, right? So like, let's just pay you more to keep doing the same fucking shit that's not working. Like that to me, that is a crazy solution. That if you're like, well, we don't want to be wasting money. It's like, well, we are like, and just paying people more to do the same shit with the same constraints is like the definition of wasting money.
Yep. And you're like, oh, it's so bad out there. Things are wild. My job now from 10 years ago, it's changed so much. The kids have changed so much. There's so much extraneous influence that's making it difficult to reach them. We're behind the times with our curriculum. We're behind the times with our approach to teaching. We don't have time to develop it. We're not professionally developing like we should be. We're not keeping pace. It's almost like you could draw parallels to inflation. Like what's being needed in schools, it's rising and rising and rising, and we are behind the times, and these jobs are becoming untenable. And what they're saying is like, well, there's not enough money, but hey, we're going to give you more money to stay, to be in that space. And you're like, well, that's great. I like money. You like money. It's fucking kids, mate.
Yeah.
But it's honestly not addressing any of the issues, none of them. And it continuing to go downhill. And so that's what's happening right now. Is it's a rejection en masse of what's been happening. Like, fuck your money. We need something to change. We need something to happen right now. Otherwise, we are missing the mark. We are losing the ball, and we are going to find ourselves in a really bad place. And we're going to find ourselves like you go down to some of the states in the Bible Belt, in the Midwest, and you have like grade 6 reading levels, just kids who have zero attachment to school, coming from bad places. They're not funded, they're not supported, and so they just become this despondent underclass who again are susceptible to things like radicalization. They're susceptible to things like, I don't know, they engage in misinformation. They want to prop up their God King president because he's going to affect change, and they have no skills, no critical thinking ability, and that's why you see this huge polarization of people. We're creating these monsters in a lab. We're not doing the same job we used to do. So it's fucking wild. It's fucking wild.
And so I would add, anybody who thinks that like what was just described it sounds like alarmist or like, over the top, do what I did on Friday and go volunteer at your kid's school for like an hour, 2 hours.
Go in there.
Go see what it's like. Cause it's, I was watching the teacher, and obviously I'm not there to be a disciplinarian. I was basically there to make sure the kids don't fucking touch the displays. Yeah. Really was my job.
Don't touch the beaver pelts.
Yeah. And, but the teacher, as you said, is constantly having to redirect the same, 3 kids.
Yep.
Having to move them around. You sit over here because you guys can't be beside each other. And I get it. Like, I was a class clown. But what was happening was like beyond class clownism. It was like, this is complete, like, absolute derailing of the entire lesson. Like, it is. And the teacher cannot focus on the kids who are sitting there eager to learn. She cannot talk to them and say like, hey, what did you think about what you just held in your hand? That postcard from 1905 that was written from an Okotoks settler or whatever. She couldn't, because she's trying to get this kid to sit still, and she's trying to get this kid to stop like fucking hitting his friend or whatever, right? Like, and she just always redirect, shifting things. Like, these kids shifted where they were sitting like 10 times because she's trying to find this like perfect balance where they might just stop like derailing the whole lesson.
Instead of being a facilitator of an educational experience, instead of enriching those students' day by answering questions, posing questions, getting kids to think about historical context and being like, well, look at this. What do you think it means? Why do you think it was like that? Doing your job as a teacher, they are there to make sure little Billy doesn't rip something off the wall, that the bathroom doesn't get vandalized. And then the older grades, they're there to make sure these kids aren't using drugs. I know that sounds like so fucking dare, so like mad, but it's true.
It isn't, because Alicia walked Kennedy to the bus the other day, and so they go to elementary school.
Yeah.
K to 6, okay? There's a kid on her bus standing there at the bus stop vaping.
Yep.
This kid, I don't know how old he is, but he cannot possibly be older than grade 6. What is that, 10 years old?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, 11, 10. Cannot possibly be older than that, okay? That is the max age that he could be at that school. Right? I guess maybe he could have been held back. But okay, he's 11 or 12 max. He's vaping at the bus stop in the morning to go to elementary school. Where the fuck his parents are, I don't know. This kid has caused constant problems at the bus stop. I'm surprised they even let him ride the bus anymore. But yeah, he's fucking vaping. And so if people think that's alarmist, no, there are elementary aged kids vaping at the bus stop before they get on the bus to go to school in the morning, and their parents are nowhere to be found.
Substance abuse in schools is rampant, and you think about that through the lens of education. Our job is to communicate curriculum, provide assessment and feedback. We basically need to, a really simple way to put it is, we find out what students know and leverage that to help them to know more, and then we report that information to their parents and to the government based on a program of studies, and, rinse, repeat. How do you do that with a kid who's fucking coming to school? They stayed up till 3 a.m. the night before on their phone, playing Fortnite, whatever it was, getting nicked out, vaping all alone, coming to school. Then they found a weed pen, or they took a weed pen from home. They're fucking stoned, or they're drunk. And like these kids are in school, and their parents are at work, or their single parent is at work, and they are living a life that makes it, creates barriers for them to go home and actually be an effective parent, and they're angry, and they're spending their time on the internet, joining separatist movements because they're no, seriously, because they're so unhappy, and they have to lash out at someone. And what parents think parenting is now is like a kid does something, and we call it, it's like this weird slacktivist approach where what you do is you blow up at the teacher.
Yeah.
You know, we call home and we say, this happened in school. Your child did this, or your child came under the influence. And what we get most often is people saying, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, how are they allowed to do this? How did this fight break out? How did this happen? Like, you fucking teachers, you got a 3-month paid vacation during COVID. You know, you get paid out your ass. You're not doing anything. No, our job is not the primary source of socialization. I am not in the school to parent your child.
Yeah.
I can reinforce those ideas. I can instill morality. I can encourage students to be ethical. But if they're coming from a space where they have no rules, where they're not getting the message at home, and they are doing things like engaging in substance abuse, I'm supposed to be teaching them fucking algebra, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to be talking about democratic principles. I'm supposed to be looking at plants for food and fiber. That is my job. I am not supposed to be in a role where I'm teaching your kid explicitly right from wrong, societal values, moral values. Again, I can reinforce that. That is my job. That is the role of a teacher. We are someone who should be looked up to, but I am not the fucking, like, it's difficult to describe.
You're not the ethics police, the moral police.
I'm not the primary source of that.
Yeah.
That happens at home.
Nor should you be, because different families can have different values, and that's fine within reason, right? But yeah, like, and the other part of that is, if your kid showed up to school already high, well, then like where, that's our starting point. So we're trying to get them to a point where they can potentially learn something, but they showed up, you know, for your shift with them at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Already stoned. Like, that's the starting point.
That's the starting point.
We're just at that point, you're just like, I hope they don't get more high during the day. Like, that's a win, right? Like, and so yeah, I encourage everybody to go volunteer and see how fucked up it is.
And the greatest casualty during all of this is the kid who is coming to school with a growth mindset, with a positive outlook. I hate to say it, you know, probably from a 2-parent household, a higher income household. Those kids, you know, they want to talk about falling through the cracks, getting left behind. Their experience at school is so diminished right now. They're not being challenged, you know. They're not receiving the attention and care that we used to get in the 90s. It's just impossible. So they are the most disadvantaged group. And it's weird to say. The kid who's coming from the safest place and is most capable of learning, they are currently the most disadvantaged student within the school, because they just aren't getting what they need to grow.
Yeah.
Because
They're
all of our
just
time
treading water, basically.
Yes, and all of our time is spent on that 10%, that 15% that just run our shows. Yeah. Like, I would even say, forget being alarmist, I'm actually being intentionally, like, I'm not going into deets, you know, because I don't want to lose my job, and I can't share some of the stuff, right? But if I was to be like, yo, this happened this week, this exact example in my building, the majority of people would be aghast. They'd be like, are you fucking serious? I was like, oh yeah, that was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday, this happened. And you have a lot of people that are just caught up in everything else, and they don't realize that that's what's going on in schools. And you send your kid off every day. Like, people who are listening right now with children, think about your children and what happens when you drop them off. It's so easy to, like, get your kids to daycare, get your kids to school, and then be like, oh fuck, I got a huge meeting. I have to go do my job. I have things that I'm doing, and you kind of put it out of your mind. You're like,
well, you've always assumed that school is a safe space.
You trust it. You're like, I'm a product of my environment. I went to school. I'm okay. Look at me. Sure, junior high and high school can be challenging.
Yeah, there can be incidents of bullying or whatever, but you know, that is limited.
You know, and that's, I hate to say it, but a little bit of that is a rite of passage. Like, you have to learn how to navigate unkind people. You have to learn to navigate your body and mind changing and carving out who you are as a person.
Yep.
You know, there's kind of a weird transition that everyone goes through in junior high, where you're constantly trying to emulate what you think is who you want to be. You know, you see things, you listen to Kanye West, you wear, no, seriously, you wear these fucking clothes, your West 49 zip up hoodie, your fucking Source hoodie, and you're constantly trying to, like, fit in, and then everyone goes through it and at different stages, but you finally find out who you are. And you're like, oh, actually, I like this. I like anime. I like music. I like main stage.
Yeah.
You know, like, And then you kind of have to learn how to be comfortable with yourself and assert yourself. These are my friends. These are what we like to do. And you kind of carve out a niche. And that's why you see these cliques form in high school. It's not people, segregating. It's people aligning themselves with like-minded individuals, people who enjoy the same things that you do, and you become comfortable in who you are as a person. And then all of a sudden, life gets a lot better because you're not pretending anymore. You're not trying to be this ideal fucking, I saw this and I want to emulate that. I want to wear that. I want to be Regina George of plastic, or I want to be like this fucking metalhead and wear the darkest clothes I can, fucking flat iron my hair, whatever it is. You stop.
You just described me in high school.
Well, me too. No, I think I'm describing all people.
Yeah.
You know, even my wife. I crack the joke all the time. Like when we first met, you know, she belonged to a group that was like, they got the same color hair. They got the same brand jeans. You know, we're all wearing Paul Frank this year. Next year, we're all wearing fucking Aritzia, TNA, and then and you go, and it's not just hey, we like this, but it's popular culture, and you're constantly trying to be something that you're not. That's the most outward form of expression, is like what you own and how you are perceived. And then, like I said, you go through this transition where you're like, no, I actually like this, and this is who I am, and these are the people I kind of want to spend time with, and these are the things I like doing. And then you're like, whoa, this is way better. Yeah, I like being an individual, and then you actually form your identity, you form your personality, and
you find other people that also like that.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, okay, like this is my crew.
Yeah, and life gets better. And so those are what I would describe as normative coming of age experiences, and everyone goes through that. And there's lots of tough things that happen, like you do something that's embarrassing, or you get broken up with, or you get bullied. You have a high school bully, or you struggle in school because this class is hard. You take math 30 fucking 9 times. You take chemistry 30. You take chemistry 30 as a 22-year-old student, and they no longer subsidize it, so you pay $600 to fail a class with a bunch of people who are new to Canada. Like, yeah, there are growing pains in that whole process. But when you aren't there and you just send your kid, you would be shocked and alarmed at this new stuff that kids deal with, at this new, like, the degree of hyperbullying, bullying online.
The bullying that follows you home. The bullying that does not stop at the door at 3:15.
Yeah. And now you're dealing with policy from the government that is also creating barriers for you. Like, that's what's in the news. All this stuff is happening right now under our fucking noses, and you go read the UCP, the literal Minister of Education's, like, there was a book that talked about oral sex. How horrible that there is a graphic novel that a student can access that talks about oral sex, that talks about transgender experience in schools. This fucking guy obviously never got a handy. Never got a bead.
Yeah, that guy didn't grow up in the real world, because I watched Heather Harmon give a blowjob when I was 12 years old.
Yeah,
and buddy, I thought that was real life.
If you think in high school, like, the kids aren't experimenting, that they aren't having these conversations, like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
you're a fucking moron. Okay, I don't know what fucking colony you grew up on. I don't know what your experience was in high school. But these kids, high school is a microcosm of society, and they are fucking horned up, and they are getting into things.
And they have access to devices that we didn't have when we were at the end of high school. I had a flip phone.
So we shouldn't be fucking burying it. We shouldn't be like, let's keep this away from kids. We should be doing the opposite. Let's actually try to talk about how these things are normal. And there are people who have gone through it before, and you can share in that experience. And there's some resources available to you. There's some print available. There's some books available. And you can actually maybe find some comfort in knowing that you're not the very first person to struggle with these ideas.
Yeah.
But instead, they're like, let's burn these fucking books. Like, it's fucking ludicrous, man. This timeline is fucking skits, mate.
It is. And you know what's crazy to me? I saw this study, and it was American, but before anybody gets all on their fucking high horse thinking we're better in Canada, there's another study that proved we're really not a whole lot better. We're marginally better. But something like 60% of American adults, and it was around there, it's more than 50, their max reading level is around grade 7. And there's something like about a third of Americans that are functionally illiterate. So they can read, but barely.
Yep.
And in Canada, those numbers are ever so slightly better, but like nothing to be proud of. And that blows my mind because of all the tools that we have now. Like I can pull up my phone and I could read all day. You could read all day. You could develop that skill. And just to think that we've gone backwards since like 1970 when there was no, you did not have a family computer at home. The books that you had were the books that your parents bought and brought into the home. Yeah. Right. Or the ones that you got at the local library, which are now slated to be burned. So it blows my mind that we've idiocracy. Like to go back to it was like, it's like, that's scarily accurate. We are moving in that direction where it's like somehow we have more tools, more technology, more knowledge, and yet we seem to be moving backwards. And people are becoming, to put it, not lightly at all, dumber, and we can't read. Yeah, adults, and then so you think about that. You're trying to convince an adult who can potentially barely read and has kids of their own that they're sending to school that something is functionally wrong with the school system. And all this discussion that we just had, and you gave like a really great kind of expose on it and like helped people understand who aren't in the schools every day what's actually going on. First of all, that person's probably not listening to this podcast. We could type it up. They probably can't read it. And they're focused on, whatever the issue of the day is in their circle. And we're expecting them to put the time in to help educate their kids. Because that's the other thing is like, my daughter, I don't want to be like gushing proud parent. She got 100% on every single spelling test this year. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Final one was this past week. We said, you get 100% on this. Like we're going for ice cream, whatever you want. We're going out. She did it. But that wasn't just her teacher. Her teacher played a huge role in that. But she gives us the spelling words to practice every night, and we do with her. Yeah. Right? And so you play a role as a parent in educating your kid. And if you're thinking that it all happens between 8:15 and 3:15 at school, I'm sorry to say you've completely lost the plot. And if you're not engaging with your kid, then you're sending a little piece of shit to school. I'm sorry.
You nailed it. And I would argue that actually as parents, you are the primary source of education, of socializing. We supplement it. Yeah. We are there to add the substance. We're there to look at case-specific examples and provide some context, look at things through different lens, expose kids to ideas. But the majority, the bulk of the work happens at home. It does. And that's a big part of it. That's been eroded. These kids are disadvantaged at school. They're disadvantaged at home. And we just keep talking about it like, our test scores are down. The provincial average based against everywhere else in the country. Like, what are we doing? What's happening in ed? And the minister wants to point to fucking, generalized ideas like wokeism, undefinable processes like wokeism, and they want to say that it's these teachers, they're complaining, they're not doing the same jobs they used to. There's apathy, they're unhappy with the money, but at the base level, we just don't have the support. We don't have the ratio to do as good a job as needs to be done while this group of children continues to get more complex, continues to be more susceptible to influence. And they're changing. They're evolving rapidly. You talked about like the spelling. This happens 10 times a day. We're doing projects. We're doing a science project. And right now in class, we're doing we spent a lot of time looking at living systems, biodiversity and how where you are globally, your longitude, your latitude, how that's going to affect biodiversity. If you're in the Arctic, it's more extreme conditions. It's not a temperate climate. There's going to be less things interacting, less biotic factors, abiotic factors. You go down to the equator, and you have more temperate climates, you're going to have way more biodiversity. And we look at all these different examples, and then at the end of it, the kids get to choose a region, and they kind of do their own project on it and explain, why they chose it, what the biodiversity looks like, what the flora and fauna looks like, specific adaptations that plants and animals have to live there. These kids are on computers. They're on computers. And they'll be like, how do I spell coal? How do I spell mountain? How do I spell gecko? And I'm like, oh man, like if only you were on a device
that will correct your spelling,
or allowed you to look that up. Yeah. But they cannot connect the dots. I get that question all the time. And you nailed it. We have the technology now. We have so much assistive tech. We have so much stuff that could be utilized to enhance the learning experience. And what it's done is it's just made kids skip steps. Like they have no ability to actually think abstractly and try to understand a word. It's phonetics. You know, they haven't had to do that. Their brains haven't had to put that together. They're just like, they're lazy, they're dumb, and they can't even use a computer to search up the word. And it's like, what the fuck? What are we doing to these kids?
Yeah.
You know, they have like no conventions. If you ever looked at a sample of writing from like a grade 6 or 7 student now compared to when we were in school, it is terrifying. You know, like kids don't even understand what cursive is. You know, remember doing that in school? You learn handwriting in like different ways. That's not a thing. There's like even writing by hand, like that's a lost art form. You know, the need to be like neat and organized to solve a problem, a math problem in steps. No, out the window. It's all gone. You know, there's so many facets of education right now that are diminished. I don't know where we fucking go from here. Like they're talking about like, yeah, we need 4,000 teachers in the province. We need to have a classroom cap size, and the government saying like, we just can't do it. It's just not feasible. Like we got our AUPE talking about striking. That's our biggest bargaining unit in the province. It covers so many different areas. It's going to be intensely expensive. We've got the ATA potentially striking, right? And they're just like, there's no money. You know, we can't do it. And it's like, well, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because this is going to get so fucking bad. We are $3 or $4 billion underfunded right now, and it's getting worse. We honestly, we talk about it when Megan and I talk about our kids going to school, we aren't even entertaining the idea of the public system. And I work in it. It's gonna fucking probably bury us to try and get our kids into a situation where there's 20 children in a classroom and one adult with support and serious safeguards around their learning and around their experience. And we're gonna have to pay for that out of pocket. And even that, I think, philosophically is problematic because we've always been a country and a province that has had strong public systems that provide the same opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
And now what we've done and what the UCP has kind of pushed us towards is we're establishing a class system. You essentially have to be rich to ensure that your child gets a decent and fair education. And that's not the case for a lot of people. That's not the case for most people.
Well, yeah. I mean, what does it cost to send your kid to STS these days? It's like $20,000 a year.
It's I believe base tuition at the elementary school level is about $16,000. But then also when you go to a school like that, everything's got a price tag. Yeah.
Well, and you've got extra costs. They do bigger, better field trips. They're not going on a bus to the Okotoks Museum,
and those are all getting invoiced.
Yeah.
So it's about $25,000, and then at the towards the high school, so you're looking at about $40,000. And then again, just to bring it back to philosophy, even that's kind of a weird experience for a kid because you're going through this elite programming and you're not actually seeing.
You're not surrounded by real people.
You're not surrounded by real people. And that's damaging. You know, these fucking kids from STS that go through that and they come out and they're tattoo artists, you know, because they want to rebel because they haven't seen the world what it's like and they're angsty and they want to say like, fuck this, you know, and you've insulated them from how the world actually works. Or on the other hand, they do go on to be really successful, but then they propagate those systems because they're elite.
Well, you said $40,000 for one kid, so you send 2 kids to STS. That's $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
For high school, there's people that don't make $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
You could take their entire income before taxes, and they still could not afford to send both of their kids to a private school. The
schools that we're looking at, they're in about the $4,000 to $5,000 per year range, and that's just, but which is still a ton of money.
Yeah.
You know, an extra $10,000 a year just to get my kid out of the public system and make sure that they're not in a class of 35. And you know, when I say 35, that's the number that I keep bringing up because that's my experience. I have colleagues in other schools. I have a colleague currently who's teaching a grade 9 social studies class, and there's 42 enrolled students.
Jesus Christ. Like,
they don't even have enough desks in the classroom. That's that's an actual problem they have right now. You start class, you can't even do attendance, you know, and it's gang mentality, and you still have that complex construction that I'm talking about, those challenging students. What do you do with 42 kids? Anyone right now, even if you're in like a management role, go try and get 42 people to work towards a common goal. Get them all organized, you know, and then also like provide them feedback on how they're going about that. It's impossible. It's a huge task.
Yeah.
It's a fucking gang.
Well, yeah, that's inmates running the show.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Yeah, sick cunts.
All right, so society is crumbling before our very eyes.
It is.
And
it fucking is.
And a bunch of people are going to point the finger at the wrong people.
So let's tell some jokes and make some fucking chili. Get back on brand for us, eh? Fuck.
I did tell some jokes last weekend.
How'd it go? I actually, before you go on, I've missed a couple, man. My wife's new schedule. I'm going to bus her. Like, I'm just spending way too much time with my kids. I need to say, I'm going to go
after the discussion we just had.
I'm going to go diametrically opposed to my assertions previously. I spend way too much time with my children. But yeah, I couldn't make it, and I apologize, but I hear you're doing well.
Yeah. So apparently, even though I missed the one in April, I'm still leading in points.
Oh, good. They liked you.
Yeah. So even with being a little bit shorthanded on attendance, yeah. And so a little better turnout this last one, but man, like Jeff has had a rough go with getting people out. Like people are signing up, and so I apparently the one in April had a great turnout. I wasn't there to witness it myself, but there was about 10. Yeah. And this one, I think Jeff had about 10 or 11 people signed up, and I think half flaked, which is kind of crazy to sign. I mean, some people had some excuses, they were sick or whatever, and you know that shit happens. But yeah, so you know he was coming in thinking like we got a full night here. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, no, your attendance is cut in half, and he's trying to fill that space and rejig the lineup. Right, you come prepared like you would at any job or anything. Like it's work for him, right? It's volunteer work basically. But yeah, he's trying to like fill that. So yeah, I think it's a thankless job to run that show. So thanks, Jeff.
I had a fucking daydream that I came in and I just wanted to stir the pot, and I just turned it into like a fucking roast battle. Like that's my set. Is that
you're just gonna start roasting people?
I'm just gonna take you down. I'm gonna take Jeff down a couple pegs.
Okay. I mean, there's an angle there for sure. Everybody's got their angle. Yeah. Yeah. No, it went good for me. I thought I did fairly well. All new bits. So yeah, it was got some laughs.
It is it's audacious, not audacious. You're pushing the envelope by trying to write new material each time.
Yeah, I'm not redoing any jokes.
Yeah. And I liked your set. If I can, we never disagree. But I will say that, like, I feel when I was watching it, that you were touching on some stuff that was potentially very funny, but you were playing it a little safe.
I think I played it a little safe, and I think after watching it back, like, so the one gem in there that I think I'm gonna build on and maybe try it again is I was talking about how I understand gay marriage better than straight marriage. And I was like, that's your boy, right? Yeah. Like you got the same interests, right? But it was so quick, and I had just written it that day. Like I was kind of going through my set, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of a funny little offshoot, like kind of insert a joke within the joke. And as I was watching it back, I was like, oh, that was the funniest part.
Oh, yeah. And relatable too. I can't remember what you said. We're like, you're like talking with your husband. You're like, hey, do you want to like suck each other's dicks and then get some pizza, play video games? And it's like, yep. You know, like.
And so yeah, there's like a bit there, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to go with that. So it was one of those things where it's like, I don't. It definitely was not my best set. It did well. Yeah. But it was like, you know, the act of doing that, I was like, oh, I think I found a gem in here. Mm-hmm. Surrounded by the rock, and I've chipped away at the rock, and now I just need to kind of finish that job. So yeah, I mean that happens. I've been thinking about another bit, and it kind of came from our WhatsApp conversation in the men's league chat this week about how when I was taking my passport in, I was going to swing by the C train station and
do a pretty woman
with a homeless lady. And so I was golfing yesterday, and Dan was riding on the cart with me. I was talking with him about that, and we were laughing, and then I was like, man, like I should, you know, that bit, like I should do that, but talk about how I don't actually have money like Richard Gere did in the movie, and so I'm gonna have to
do it on a shoestring budget.
Yeah, so I'm gonna instead of getting an escort and take her to like a high end boutique, I'm gonna have to get like just this like downtrodden homeless lady and take her to like Old Navy. Use my super cash dollars.
Yes.
Right. So, Yeah, I'm just trying to find those like tidbits. I feel like there's an opportunity.
7-Eleven Big Buck. Go get some glizzies.
Yeah. Feet are good.
Feet are good.
Oh yeah, but it was fun. So
The other thing you did, I'm not putting you on blast, but so you had some wife jokes in there.
Yeah.
And like, I adore your wife. She's a strong, independent woman. She's very kind, and she does a lot for me and my family. She's one of my favorite people. And you were telling some jokes about being married and some experiences you've had with your wife. But you kept prefacing and also going back and being like, but she's out of my league, and I love her, and she's so beautiful, and I'm such a piece of shit. You know, almost like a self-deprecating thing. But you were pouring it on so thick. And when I was watching it, I was like, I wish this wasn't Dex. And I wish it wasn't Dex's wife, because if I was just watching this and I didn't know you, I'd be like, fucking get her. You know, like stop going up there and being like, you know, here's a little bit of a joke, but like, I'm going to bring it back because she's listening and she's sitting right there and I want to sleep in my own bed tonight, you know? And you could tell that there was some restraint. I could feel
there was some restraint.
And I had my thought was like, if this was just random guy doing wife jokes, I'd be like, just fucking tear the roof off this. Like, let her have it. Yeah. And again, don't do that. And don't do that to your wife. And if she listens to this, I'm saying not to do it, okay? But I feel like you had a bit of a hokey pokey there. You had one foot in, and you're like, but I'm not actually gonna fucking go there because she's sitting 10 feet away from me.
I think I was angling for the female vote, maybe
a little bit, yeah. So I mean, if you're not willing to say the things that are gonna like fucking get the reaction, maybe you lean into some of that other stuff.
I think next one, I am gonna try and get back to my roots, and it's gonna be all about jacking off and fucking homeless people. So,
yeah. Amen, brother.
I've already got it written in my head. I got to put it on paper, but I think there's a good opportunity there.
Hey, you sick cunt. Yeah, that's awesome, buddy.
But yeah,
when's the next one?
Fuck.
Get the old phone out.
End of June. I just opened my phone. It's fucking Ryan half naked.
Dude, I love that photo. Ryan, if you made it this far, if you ever get to the current episodes, because it sounds like you're listening way back, I appreciate that. He's such a good dude. Honestly, I miss that guy.
Going to the events page. It's at the end of June. I want to say either the 21st or the 24th, but let me actually 21st. Yeah, my first gut feeling was correct. So June 21st is the next one at Hubtown.
And I was doing some research today. I was looking into. I had this weird like moment where I was like, oh fuck, like the chili cook-off's in 3 weeks, and we like haven't registered, and we haven't like got anything ready. Like we're gonna fuck this up. And then I looked it up, and I just am a moron. I'm a product of the Alberta public school system. And I was like, oh, it's in August. Like it's months away. Yeah. So we got lots of time to iron that out. And not only are we going to be starting an AI animation show, but we have been talking about a pig roast, and not the sex kind. Yeah,
not the homeless lady from the Fish Creek Sea Train Station.
This fucking skit's fine. Oh god. No, not that one. That one's that's like a beaver operation. That's clandestine. That's just for personal
use.
Just
us in ghillie suits.
Yeah. Taking shits on the homeless lady. Yeah.
Somebody, we're next fucking email we get is gonna be like, actually, you guys, it's unhoused.
Yeah, fuck, don't do that. Yeah, I think we toe the line between like being like liberal wads and also just like
which the world needs more of. Okay, I'm gonna go on a rant here for a second. I apologize. We'll get back to the pig roast in a second.
No, lay it on me.
The world needs more of these people that fall in between the extremes that we have found ourselves dealing with, right?
Yes, moderates.
There is an extreme where it's like we need to police all of our words to the nth degree, and I think there is an element of that is important, where we need to be mindful of what we say about people and stuff like that. And then there's this other side, and it's like I'm writing a song called Heil Hitler, and I'm gonna use slurs in my day-to-day life, and that's also wrong too. But I think there's a middle ground. I think there's a middle ground where it's like society is a conglomeration of people, right? And people of all different beliefs and walks of life. And if we're gonna try and force them into these two extreme boxes, nobody's gonna like that. But you're gonna force somebody into that box because they're gonna lean one way or the other. And if we can just accept that we call homeless people homeless, and that's not the PC term, right? People are gonna say, well, they do have homes. They have loving homes. A home is not a building. That's why we call them unhoused. And I'm like, that's the same fucking word. Homeless, unhoused is the same. What are we talking about? It's the stigma. Yeah. It's the stigma. Ask a homeless person the hardest part of being homeless, and they're not going to be like, well, it's the fucking stigma.
Yeah.
No. They're going to be like, no, it's like I don't have access to healthcare. I don't have access to a shower every day. I don't have access to a reliable food source. I can't get a job. I don't have good clothes to wear to an interview. But, above all of that, the stigma is what's really holding me back.
Keeps me up at night.
Fuck off, okay?
Just tossing and turning in my cardboard box.
But the stigma.
The stigma. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So back to the pig roast.
No, I like that. I like that, Yeah. Fuck, we got to toe the line.
Common sense.
But this slacktivist approach, and I honestly, a lot of the stuff I feel like we're experiencing in society, I feel like, the camps on the roadways and the separatist movement and the book burning, these people are coming out of the woodwork because they've been biding their time because they've lived in the other area of that pendulum swing. We went too far. We went too Trudeau. We went too liberal. We all went through it like. You can't say fucking anything. You can't say anything, and you had to be so mindful and so cautious. And it just kind of there was these people who didn't really align with their values, and they didn't like it. And then all of a sudden, you got one Trump, one Ye coming out and saying like we're gonna do whatever we want, say whatever we want, and they were like it became celebrated. And now it's just this
now it's back the other way, and both sides of that swing are wrong in my opinion.
And now I was going to say now we've lost our way. Now we've gone way too crazy.
Yeah.
No, you just can't come out and be like I am racist and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm a Nazi.
Yeah. It's too overt, but it's born of it's a rejection of that big swing the other way, And it got too much. It got to be too much. And I feel like everything in moderation. Yeah, I got to keep it center. Pig roast. And this is a tricky one because I'm sure everyone listening can relate. Like summer's booked. I'm booked till September 15th. Actually, I'm booked till the end of September. I was just looking at my calendar. We've got like a couple concerts, this and that. So like no one has time to attend this fucking thing. But if we could carve out even on like a weeknight something where we buy a suckling pig and we fucking roast it up. Dex does a little bit of a comedy set where you're not restricted to time. Maybe we invite one or two dudes out and we just do like a barbecue laid back vibe.
Yeah.
An actual event for the boys and the gals and everybody in between. But it's just like we're mostly roasting a pig and we're going to tell some jokes. That's achievable.
I mean, it sounds like a highlight of the summer to me.
Yeah. Maybe field of dreams it, man. Let's pick a weekend.
And roast it, they will come.
Yeah, if we roast it, they will come.
Inside that pig?
The pig. Oh, dude. Dude, okay, my mind is turning. What if we do like the pig roast and we go after each other a little bit? Like I was saying, like I'm going to do at Hubtown. Just come up and start calling, just shooting my shot and shitting on everybody. Fucking joke stealer, fucking idiot, fucking man tits, We do a pig roast. Dex v. Drew. Oh, dude, hurt feelings for sure.
Yeah, end of the podcast.
That's a big Les Show arc, man. And then we're enemies.
Shitting on each other's birthday cakes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, fuck, my birthday's coming
up. Your birthday's
up
coming
yours.
up. I am shitting on a cake for sure. Fucking cake farts, meat farts. You've seen those videos. Kids are watching those videos, okay?
Okay, like we just we had for a moment in time we captured like such an intelligent discussion here today. One of my favorite people to follow on Instagram right now is the girl who like farts into things.
She's got the soup pot.
She's got the soup
riding
pot.
around on rollerblades, and then
Did you see the one where she climbs up on a counter and like opens the microwave and farts in it, and then like closes it?
I've seen a couple, man. I'm watching.
She's so funny, but it's just farts. It's fucking. It's just farts. It's just and it's not even like it's not. Nobody think I'm weird. It's not sexual. Like she's fully clothed.
You look pretty excited right now.
I'm torqued.
That's the flow. That's the butt flonase doing its work.
It's just coffee enema, Cialis, and Flonase right up the pooper.
I always those things are so funny to me because like she probably like did it once and was like, oh, this is out there, and then like got this huge reaction. People like it, and that's social media, right? Like you're on one, and it's like, well, I guess I'm the girl who farts into things, That's my claim to fame. That's hard. That's hard to get a date.
She could get a sponsorship from like Ridge Wallets or something.
Yeah, she's farting into her Ridge wallet. Well, fuck. Stay tuned for our Father's Day extravaganza. We can call our shot on this one because we have been talking lots about that. We're gonna try and do something fun, and we're still trying to get guests on. I got a couple no's recently. Yeah,
that hurts me, but it's also not surprising.
Yeah. I was trying to get our dude on to talk about all the water stuff that's going on right now in the town of Okotoks, town of High River, and with the Bow River pipeline. And I was like, oh, it'd be so great because we love having like actual informed people to like come on and like kind of like, educate us. And there's the episode. It's like, what is water? Like what are our water needs? What's happening in the environment? And I was like, you could come on and do this for us. And like, you are so well read and like you have this job. This would be awesome. And he's like, absolutely fucking not. like one example one, your podcast. Okay. I've listened. No, thank you. Example two, like this is like an ongoing issue, and I'm not just gonna like go and like talk out of pocket like I just did about education. It's like it's not, it's pretty touch and go. So I'm not interested. And then our mutual friend Tommy Dreamer, I don't know if he listens. He probably doesn't listen.
Probably not. He's told me before he doesn't. He's like, no, I like when I see you guys, we talk for hours, and I don't need like more of that.
Yeah, I actually heard that feedback a bit, but I do want to get a first responder on. We're asking. We're going out. We're asking.
We need to get. Do you know anybody that's like EMS?
Yeah, Tommy.
Well, anybody else that like actually wants to be on our show? Because like, man, they're going through the same shit the teachers are.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's so much going on in this province that is not good, and people need to hear about it. So we're gonna keep asking. We're gonna keep exploring that. But I think the next episode is our Father's Day extravo, and that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
In summation, get out there, watch the Big Les show, and volunteer at your kids' schools.
Yeah, that's the takeaway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm so stuffed up.
Fucking skits, mate.
Bye.
Sick cunt.